Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday. 21 years of it. I have enjoyed every bit of it. You can find us on television two different ways. Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can also find us on Channel 182 on Charter Communications. This is also part of Spectrum. We're really proud to be part of that avenue as well. Very proud to be with the Newscasters with our podcast, the Newscasters Studio, and Clint Day is with us. We're going to talk a little bit further about that in just a few minutes. And on the radio, you can find us on WZLA. I've got the coffee mug to prove it right here. And so proud to be with them. They are the biggest country station located in South Carolina, and they play the oldies stuff. And when I say the oldies stuff, I know it sounds old to some of you young folks, but from the 70s country, and then even further back with your Patsy Cline. I always love Patsy Cline music. And so anyway, you hear all of that, and they play a few of the new stuff too, but they're really not into the real country stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you want really true country music, you got it with them. And I'll have to say this too, the folks who own the station, Mr. Greason, I mean, he's an awesome guy too. So thank you so much, Mr. Greason, for letting us be part of that as well. Continue watching us on Facebook and all the social media sites as well when they'll let me stay on it. I'll have to say this, Clint Day. Since President Trump has been president, I've not been taken off of any of the sites so far, which is pretty cool, and we get kind of plain, so on this station. But I've got Clint Day with us, and he is with the Newscaster Studio. So good to be with you again today, Clint.
Don, it's great to be with you and your audience. And congratulations on 21 years. It's amazing. I love how you took April Fools and took it into April's success. I mean, it's amazing how God's blessed you, and you've worked so hard, and you take such great care of your audience and your advertisers and supporters. It's really a blessing to be a part of it with you today.
Well, we have another new sponsor, and that's Wild Burgers, and they are located right here in Abbeville. And so every Friday we give away like 10 gift certificates every Friday. And so they've joined the ranks with us, and they're giving away a $25 gift certificate every Friday. So, and Dr. Chuck, who's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, is actually sponsoring that segment as well. But I love all of my sponsors. I mean, they're just absolutely wonderful, wonderful folks to do business with.
That is so good. It's so key. And I tell you what, we need even smaller businesses just to do better and better at creating those jobs for America. I was glad to see a good jobs report that shocked the legacy media and the woke media, if you will. They were really surprised how well the economy's doing. And I really do believe the new tax laws that have gone into effect this year are going to really make a big difference for all of us in America to live a more prosperous life.
I wanted to ask you a question, and this comes from several of our listeners who've been sending an email. And this is about the price of fuel. And why aren't we just doing it ourselves? Do you think President Trump has something in his mind about just, forget everybody else, we'll just use what we have here in America?
Well, it's a proverbial no pain, no gain. And we've got to do what we've got to do. And I really believe, like you said earlier, that President Trump has clearly information we don't have. He has a lot of details. He knew a lot more about what Iran was getting ready to do. And even in the negotiations, they were telling us right before we brought about what's going on now, they were saying in the negotiations that they had enough nuclear fuel to make 11 bombs. I mean, 11 bombs, how many bombs they need to have for us to take action? And so the timing was right. We have the right leadership in place. And I really do believe they're making decisions that are in the best interest of us as Americans.
I think about this a lot too. So a lot of folks have been brought here, and a lot of them are illegal, and they really want a better life. But there are so many sleeper cells here that just at any given moment, I mean, they could be receiving a command and we're all blown to smithereens.
Yes. Well, you're right. And we don't want to walk in fear, as I know you know. But the reality is, if they do expose themselves, it'll give us the opportunity to take care of them. And then others will, if they're there, we can be led to them. And so we've got to be constantly vigilant. We need to continue to have our Second Amendment rights to stand firm, to defend ourselves in times of need. But I really do believe God's going to protect us, and we're just going to continue to pray that He'll raise up the right people, and he'll be able to thwart those attacks that might be coming from at least the threats we've heard. And you're 100% correct. We've let a lot of people here illegally, and we really don't know what their intents are. But if they're going to come here with the right purpose and plan legally, then we obviously welcome them. And this birthright citizenship situation does need to be fixed. My understanding is there have been over 1 million Chinese births that have had, that paid the money to go to American Island or somewhere to have a baby. And so now when those young people that are babies now or whatever become 18, they can literally come to America and vote. So 1 million people would have a major impact on our outcomes.
Mm-hmm. And you have to think about the people who don't vote. And, they just don't want to take the time. I don't know. And I'm concerned about the way the elections are run as well. I mean, I really am. But I'm still going to vote. I'm still going to let my little part count.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm amazed. I had a young man that was staying in my house for about a year and a half, and his worldview is very much ours. He's in the counseling business. He had gone through a difficult divorce and needed a little assistance to get back on his feet, and so he, it was a win-win situation for me at the time, and I could not get him to go vote. And it was just like he just didn't vote, and I'm like, buddy, if you don't vote, you don't have a voice, and that's one of the greatest things we have in this country. And so I would encourage everybody, make sure you go vote. Don't worry about serving jury duty or whatever. Some people use that as an excuse. I don't want to serve on jury duty or whatever, but we have got to get out and vote, because you're voting for several people by showing up to vote, because other people that will not go vote.
I wanted to ask you another question. Now, Phil and I have been in the computer business a long time. As a matter of fact, we actually had a business called Internet Port, and this is back during the old dial-up days. You remember when you'd have that little modem to make kind of a sound? And we started out, I think it was 33 baud modems, and then we thought we were all that when we got a 56K baud modem. Now you wouldn't have it, but anyway, so we know a little bit about technology, enough to make us dangerous sometimes. But I wanted to ask a question. Okay, so to me, the voting machines we have in place, I'm a bit suspicious, and the reason I am is with us, with our small business, we have a bookkeeping system. And with the bookkeeping system, let's just use debits and credits. So let's just say Phil throws a bill out there to one of our sponsors. And so that will be setting in our computer system until the person pays. Now, when they pay us, Phil goes in and posts the payment. Automatically, it's done. Okay, so automatically, the next month when Phil does the next billing, the computer knows who has paid and who hasn't paid. Now, we have great paying customers, so don't think we don't. We have some wonderful folks. But I'm just saying, what if somebody forgets? What if life happens? Things can happen. And we've worked with folks in the past that have done that, and they're still sponsors because we've worked with them. But I said all that to say this. Why can't I just put my ballot into this machine and automatically it's counted? So let's just say cutoff is 7 o'clock. You're going to have stragglers come in. I know, because I've worked the polls before. And you're going to have a few, as long as they're by 7, we've got to let them vote. Sometimes it would be 7:30 before we got out of there. So why not at 7:30 all across the United States, we would be able to count it and know who won at that moment by the time everything is put into the system. See what I'm saying? Why does it take hours to when you've got something running through something that's supposed to be a secure ballot box?
Right. Well, again, as long as it can be secure, and as long as the person has to have an ID, so you're assuring one vote per one person that is legally allowed to vote. And as we know, there are a lot of people, a lot of states out there that allow illegal aliens to vote. They'll tell you they don't legally, but somehow they end up voting. And so I think we need to have that secure system. I'm amazed that France, for example, can have an election on Sunday, one day, and everybody comes out and votes that one day, and then they know early evening who won.
You
And
just made my
there's
point.
they can we can do that right here in America. And the drop off boxes that were used in 2020, there is no doubt in my mind, because I saw it in Gwinnett County, Georgia, Fulton County, Georgia, that there were a lot of mules taking those ballots, and who knows who the ballots were done by. And it was done illegally. It had a major outcome in America, in Georgia particularly. We had 14,000. Biden won like 12 to 14,000 votes. And we know for a fact there were more than that stuffed in those ballots. And so, in those so-called drop boxes because of COVID, right? So, again, that needs to stop. And I think the president's doing everything he can to get that in order. And if the Congress and the House and the Senate won't do it, then the president orders is the way it's going to be. And I'm hoping that a lot of these things that he's getting appealed, including the birthright citizenship and the need to have ID vote for voting, it's just common sense. And why would you stand against that? So I'm hoping he'll get them accomplished.
And I understand people who are out of the country on jobs, whatever, they do mail in. I totally get that, or military, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But I wanted to mention this. This makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Is why can't we just have one election day? And to me, when I was growing up, my family, we were all very, very political, a big mixture of Democrats and Republicans. And even my parents, one was Democrat, one a Republican. And I
Me
used
too.
to I'd say, why did you even vote? I mean, because you're canceling each other out. Why are you messing with it? Well, they were both staunch about their belief in whatever party they were with. And so they went and they voted. So to us growing up, it was almost a sacred day. I mean, it wasn't going to church or anything like that, but it was just something that you did for your country. So why can't we just have one day and let it remain a sacred day?
Well, that is a big debate. I have to admit, though, I do like being able to do early voting myself. I mean, physically going in there and bringing my ID out, because in Georgia you have to have an ID, and
Mm-hmm.
they take that driver's license, and so I know that one vote for one person is happening, at least in the precinct I go to, and then they
Mm-hmm.
do a printout of your ballot, and then you put that printout into the computer. As a voter, put it in there, and I'm trusting that that is an accurate system. Now it's going to be interesting with Maduro's capture. What's going to happen with the with the when they bring him to court? What is he going to say about these Dominion voting machines and other machines that might have been violating that one man one vote system?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I can hardly wait to hear about that. But
Yes.
there's so many things we have questions about. And if there's a question about it, there's a reason for it, is the way I look at it.
Absolutely. When there's smoke, there's fire usually, or fire coming. And so I totally agree when, again, you go to certain areas and all of a sudden, like in the 2020 election in Fulton County, Georgia, all of a sudden everything just stopped at 11 p.m. All the voting stopped, and Trump's ahead in Georgia. And then 30 minutes later, they come back up, and all of a sudden, Trump's behind. And so there was a lot of suspicious activity that went on in Georgia for sure. And so hopefully, what went on in the dark will come to light. Usually, that's what happens. The Word of God says that, and we're trusting that even in these slow justice times, like we feel, that's one reason I think Biondi was let go. There's only so much time. If we don't get on and bring some of these people within the Biden administration and Georgia politics, for example, too, we're going to miss that opportunity. And as you well know, you get someone prosecuted, it takes years, and then they appeal, and so the next thing you know, there's a new president. So who's going to be in control to carry out that justice?
And you can't bring it back. I
Sure
fully
can.
believe President Trump won between him and Biden. I believe he won that election, but you
Yeah.
can't bring it back. It's already happened now.
Absolutely. But see, again, it's working out for our good. Romans 8:28 talks about that. How God allows things to happen in our lives. And they may not be good when they're happening, but ultimately it's going to work together for our good. Now, just think about this. Think about what Trump went through those 4 years and the refining God was doing in his life and what he was getting fired up about and how he learned what he had to do when he came back. And he's done so much in his first year. He's done more than many presidents do in an 8-year term.
I believe so too. Let's go into a commercial break and we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
Lowe's knows that the projects you build in spring are the ones you can't wait to share. It's why we make sure you have our best deals with My Lowe's Rewards and that you get help from people who've
been there,
done that.
Try this.
This spring, we'll help you build something rewarding.
Hey, Stan.
What's up?
I made you something.
Oh, thank you.
And I got something for you. You grew these?
Of course.
Lowe's knows how to help you spring.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone. I've got Clint Day with me right now. I'll always love having Clint on the show with me. I wanted to talk with you, Clint, about talents. Because God gives us all a talent. I haven't found mine yet. But anyway, somewhere around there.
Yes, you have.
Let's
you and
talk
Phil do a great job, no doubt.
Well, the talents that President Trump has, and one of those is a great negotiator, but another one, this guy knows how to promote. And so most people would have crumbled because, he was arrested. There he is with an arrest record, okay, and he's holding a sign up that like he's a criminal of something. Well, what did he do? God knew of his talent. So what he did is he just got it as a marketing ploy and turned it right around. People wearing T-shirts, and then big. I was going through Anderson, South Carolina. Phil and I we were thinking about moving there, when we were in the big moving craze a couple of years ago. And so it was interesting. There was a business, I wish I could remember the name of it. It's a pizza place. And the guy had from the jailhouse to the White House. And this was right before the election and all kinds of things. So it backfired all because God let him have the talent of marketing, and he's really good at it. He turned it around.
Amen. He sure did. And his enemies, this is one thing that has been really on my heart lately, is there's no fear of God. There's no fear of retribution. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of God, right? The Proverbs talks about that. And I think there's no fear of God by the so-called left, people that are totally anti-Christ, have no religion, or atheists, whatever you want to call them. But the bottom line is the truth usually comes out, and eventually it always comes out. And so your point's so well made, is it was part of the pruning process that God allowed on Trump's life so he could produce more fruit. And we all go through that. We all go through those painful experiences. We've all, I know you raise a lot of plants and have a lot of gardening you do. And you also know, though, that a key part of a fruit tree is to prune it, and prune it properly, or a grapevine or a muscadine vine. To prune it properly so it will grow more fruit. A fig tree, prune it properly and it'll produce more fruit. And we've all had that happen in our lives. And there's no doubt in my mind, those 4 years of the heck that Trump went through, the unjust accusations, them raiding his house, them literally going through his wife's closet, looking for documents that did not exist. And the documents they found were perfectly legal, and they tried to make it as if they weren't. They let CNN on the news that they were going on the raid, and they were all in the middle of it. They found nothing to prosecute him for, but they created it. The New York Letitia James, when she brought that case against him, it was for loans he had already paid back, and where the debts were satisfied, and they still prosecuted on him. And that is just unjust, and that's no fear of God on their part. And God is bringing it about for good for not only Donald Trump and his family, but I truly believe for a whole country. And you're never going to please everyone. We know that. It's amazing how many people sit on their couch, they're sideline critics of him, when he's the one with the facts, as you've already stated, that is making the best interest decisions for the United States. I really do believe for us as citizens, for our prosperity and our protection.
You know, something else I think it did is the everyday common person like me, because I mean, we saw him go at him. I mean, there's no doubt, you know, and they were just making up stuff as they went. But the everyday commoner like me, I mean, you saw, wow, how this guy's being treated, you know, and I've never been treated that bad. I mean, I have some weird family members that have tried stuff, but I'm just saying, as far as being treated like that at a world thing, I mean, it's just, and how it was really good to see, really, in a kind of a way. I think because with God all things are great, and they always wind up being good. But I think for us to be able to see that he carried on. I mean, Trump didn't, and it had. I mean, he's a human being; he's not God or anything like that. There had to be moments that he would say, "Is this stuff worth it?" I mean, is it? He had to question that, but he went through it. I mean, he lived through it. And I just think it was accommodating. But I also wanted to ask you about some of these Jane Fondas and people that are out there. Because we had no King's Day here too. Now here in Abbeville, I think like 10 people showed up. Most of them looked, you know, a little older like me. I mean, you know, it's not like a bunch of young folks out there turning cartwheels. And so there was a bunch of those folks out there, and Phil and I passed by. We even they waved and we waved back. You know, but they weren't showing out. But now I have seen some events where you've got your Jane Fondas and you got your people like that who were just trying to make the biggest ruckus they could out of it. And they were using these poor people who were being paid, I think, to be out and to demonstrate no King's Day. And then I think the point that is pretty obvious is if Trump were a king, you wouldn't be, it would be like off with your head. You're not going to be out and demonstrate against me. I think he proved that he's not a king by them having no King's Day.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And I know we all saw a lot of posts like this, no king but Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And I've had some people comment, well, he's not my king. I don't care what you think. But I'm like, well, you're going to bow to him eventually, whether you do it now or do it later, you will bow to him. The word of God says that clearly. And I really do believe it. And so, but yeah, there are no kings, and but Jesus, like I said, and Donald Trump's still our president for the next 3 years, and that's really all I want him for. I don't want him to run again in 2028. I want someone else to come in, but that's me. I'm not speaking for everyone, but I really do believe that George Washington had it right. 2 terms was enough.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm still enjoying him being president. But I wanted to think this is a little bit ahead of the next election. There's somebody I've got my that I think would be a wonderful president, and that's John Kennedy from Louisiana.
Oh, he's the best storyteller I've ever heard. He is so funny. I got to tell you, I like Rubio the best myself right now. I just love the fact that he's got really good biblical knowledge, his ability to speak Spanish. Obviously, the Cuba connection, the understanding of need for freedom is a big thing for me. Of course, I think J.D. Vance, probably polling-wise, is doing the best. Of course, he and Rubio, to me, would be incredible. Again, I like a lot of these U.S. senators stay where they are because they're doing such a great job. I mean, no one does a better interview than John Kennedy. I love that guy.
He's tremendous. He can cut you down and whack you down into pieces. You
Absolutely.
know he's doing it.
He
So,
did. Exactly. He's a great comedian too. He just got great one-liners. It's like, where did that come from? How did you think of that? That's just incredible. That
and it just
Louisiana politicians, I mean, think about number one and two in the U.S. House are, with our speaker, they're from Louisiana. Very powerful.
I'm with you on Rubio, though. I really don't. I remember during the presidential debates, though. I wish President Trump hadn't called him little Marco or little.
Yeah, but see, that's all part of the skill of getting everybody off chasing that red herring. And the reality is, I mean, how well does he articulate a message? I mean, at the Charlie Kirk funeral, if anybody hadn't heard that speech that he gave, go back and listen to him, especially if you're a Jesus lover. I mean, that is one of the best talks I've ever heard from a politician about where we're heading, where this country is, and the biblical worldview, especially on the second coming of Christ. It's
I really
amazing,
like
amazing talk.
Oh, absolutely. But I really do like Rubio's no nonsense approach. It's just like, well, here it is in plain English. This is how it is. It's refreshing because you hear so many politicians, they'll say, and I followed a few of them in Alabama. And what I noticed, and I quit following them. I just quit. They would want me to go out on the campaign trail with them because what I got to noticing was, and I'm not calling any names. Now, I have some of my favorites in Alabama, but I have some I stay far away from. And because I can't, so I have an advertiser who's going to have to go. He did something illegal, and it pertains to young girls. So that advertiser's got to go. Mm-hmm. I can't promote him. Can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. But now you hear rumors. Now you remember this. So I started hearing rumors, but I thought, well, it's probably his competitor, because competitors a lot of times will get little tails out on you because they want to get rid of you because you're successful. It's true. So it's got to go.
Sure.
But what I'm trying to say, I followed some of these politicians, and it depended on which crowd they were with. Okay, so it was almost like, well, I could look at abortion being legal. It depended on the crowd. Now, if they got with Christian conservatives, well, that's wrong. There should be no abortion. There should be, and I picked up on those things, and it was just like, no, wait a minute, you're two different people. It's like you are one way, you're a chameleon if you're that way. You're whatever. Who's ever dog you hunting with is what we say in the South. And so I just quit following a lot of them. And but when I was living in Alabama, I'd go with them and I would interview and I would, but I just got to the point where I couldn't promote them anymore because I knew the real story.
Absolutely. Well, that's obviously being a deceiver. And you do want someone that's in there that's consistent with what their beliefs are. Their system is, their worldview is very, very important. And it needs to be consistent with from my perspective, what the Bible says. Anytime I've ever violated what the Word of God says, I've always paid a price.
Same here. And what I like seeing, like if someone does something they shouldn't have done, let's say somebody had an affair, it would be so refreshing when they're being interviewed that they would just say, you know what? I was a knucklehead. I did something extremely stupid. Yes, I did it. That would make me, I would forgive them. And I'd be, okay, he said he did it. Let's just move on. He's not going to do it again. That's how I would be. But when they deny it, when you know darn well that they did it, I mean, and they were caught with pictures and everything else. And just be you. Say, yeah, because I've done mistakes. All you have to do is just say, yeah, I did it. I was stupid. And I'll never do it again. I have learned my lesson. It won't happen again. I'm going to serve the people from this point on. That's what I'm doing. And
absolutely.
I think Marco is that way.
Yes, I totally agree. And I think it's also very important the fact that anybody is subject to making really bad mistakes. So we really want to be careful with how we, quote, judge anybody on it, right? But we also want to be very aware, be like a Joseph, especially with that kind of temptation. Run from those temptations.
Absolutely. We're going to have to go. I can't believe time is it's so good to always be with you, Clint. Clint is with the Newscasters studio, and you got to go check it out now. Check them out because you're going to see the truth out there and lots of commentaries out there as well. So video, audio, whatever you want to see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Continue sending email. I cherish every one of them. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.